everybody? Welcome to Financial Fitness Friday. And today, I'm going to go over the same thing I went over with my team yesterday, but in a little bit more detail. And I think that this is a warning. This is just stuff I'm seeing. If you go back and I called a couple things that were happening, uh, and people didn't believe it. I said buy assets, do this, do that. And we've been doing this show for a very, very long time. So I'm going to go into it. Here's what I see. Okay. There are divergences within certain markets. Okay. Certain things aren't really adding up. I'll give you an example. Like today, the jobs number came out, got reported. 22,000 jobs were added. All right. That was much less than expected. And we're constantly seeing layoffs at major companies. A lot of companies have laid off 10, 15, 20% of their workforce. All right. And so when you're eliminating that many positions, and this time, and this is the first time in a long time, by the way, this is a really scary stat. There are less job openings, okay, than there are people that are unemployed. Meaning, like if every single person that was unemployed or looking for work found it, there would still be people that are unemployed. All right. And so what is driving this? And I actually, before I get to this other point, this is really important to understand. You are starting to see gold, silver, commodities, and crypto take off. Crypto's been taking off, but now you have this, all the other assets, all the other commodities taking off. And typically, when that happens, that is a weakening of the dollar. Now, you could look and forecast and say, yeah, well, they're forecasting 2 rate cuts. Okay. Basically, when they cut rates, interest rates go down. Okay. And the dollar loses a little bit of, usually can lose a little bit of its value. All right. But when you start seeing all these things work in tandem and in conjunction, that is usually a pretty big warning sign that something is about to happen. You've seen this happen sometimes before certain crashes or before certain geopolitical events or wars. And there's a lot of this going on. And all of these things are going and pointing at some disruptance ahead. All right. And now, me being in lending, I will tell you, I have spoken to a lot of clients. I specialize in growth capital, not fucking rescue capital. I'm very good at rescue capital. I just don't like rescue capital. But a lot of what I'm hearing right now is that people are not doing what they were expected. You have a couple companies that are crushing it, and then the majority are getting their teeth kicked in. Okay. And not to the point where they can't operate. All right. But they're not doing as well as they once were. I see it in the numbers. I see it with what I see every single day. All right. And so here's what I think is going on. And this is something that if you have kids, you need to pay attention to. And it's the adoption of AI is having companies lay off a lot of people. All right. Just it is what it is. That is how this is going. All right. And a lot of those positions that are being eliminated are what you would call entry-level jobs. Well, why does that matter? Because those entry-level jobs are how you get started. It's how you learn. Okay. It's typically your first job out of college. Okay. And it allows you to learn and work up the ranks. Okay. And then go on to a different position, a higher paying position, or become an entrepreneur. Like I'll give you an example. When I got out of college, I worked on Wall Street for a little bit. I hated it. Then I became an underwriter in business lending. I hated that, but it was my foot in the door to get into sales, and then sales led me here. All right. Those positions are being eliminated at a very fast rate. What does that mean? That means that a lot of people that are graduating are going to struggle to find work. I think the trades right now are probably the safest. All right. And they're the safest because they haven't fully merged robotics and AI to do those jobs yet. All right. But that is coming, guys. I want you guys to understand that is coming. That's on the horizon. So what does this mean? It means that you have to work smart. It means that if you are an entrepreneur, meaning you work for other people, you have to work for ethical companies and you have to do the best job ever. All right. Why? Because you have to be able to work as a team. Okay. That company has to outproduce all of its competitors. all right, to stay in business and to stay afloat. All right. On top of that, if you are an entrepreneur, okay, if you run a business, you have very little margin for error. All right. You have to execute at the highest level. You have to support your clients at the highest level. You have to build, and I mean this, you absolutely have to build amazing word of mouth marketing. You have to build raving fans that love your brand, love you, and you have to go above and beyond for them and consistently create that experience, because nothing else is going to save you. All right. The job market out there is absolute trash. Okay. And it's not going to get better with these things being adopted at the rate that they're being adopted at. All right. This isn't to panic you. It isn't to frighten you. It's to literally tell you what I am seeing and what I'm forecasting. All right. This is scary shit. I basically told my guys, when you walk in that door, it is life or death. Okay. This is a matter of life or death. You have to be on top of your game. You have to, if you thought 100 calls was the bar, you better bump that up to 200 calls a day. All right. You will not be able to feed your family if you don't. All right. Because listen, if you guys aren't executing at the highest level, that company isn't going to make money because somebody is going to outcompete you. All right. They're either going to get technology that is ahead of you and get your market share. Okay. There's a million ways that this can go wrong, and I'm starting to see it. And this is just the early stages of this, guys. I'm not coming on here to make you guys panic. I'm trying to set expectations properly so that you can thrive and that you can survive. All right. People will not be, the majority of people are struggling now. If you look at debt, credit card debt is at an all-time high, personal debt at an all-time high, student loans at an all-time high. All right. And you have assets going up. There's so many different bubbles that could burst, okay, and bring this down. And then you have a really soft job market. All right. So the underlying fundamentals here, okay, for the entrepreneurs, the business owners, are absolute shit. Okay. They're terrible. And now we have a lot of bubbles that could pop. All right. And the reason why the average person doesn't see it is because all you guys look at is the stock market. Okay. And everyone's looking at the stock market going up and up and up. Well, if you actually look at the stock market, it's driven by a few companies, and it's usually a few companies in the tech sector. I think Tesla is going to go off. Okay. NVIDIA has, had an epic run. All right. This is propping up those numbers. All right. So if you take out a few companies, you'll actually get a much better picture of what's going on. And again, I'm not saying this to panic. I'm not telling you guys that it's all going to go away tomorrow. What I'm telling you is you have to be super careful. You have to be very smart. And if you think that you are working at a high level now, okay, you have to work at probably 10x what you think you need to do to be able to put yourself in a position to thrive through this. All right. Because I don't know about you, but I like winning. I don't like it. I love it because you know why? It allows me to do great things for other people. Okay. You cannot pour out of your cup if it's empty or if it's half full. All right. So for you to make the impact you want, this is all connected. All right. Dave, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, I think also on the flip side too, man, like, you really think of it, it's really a small group of numbers, right? How many what's the percentage of people that are business owners, right? Now, that obviously creates competition amongst each other, but you're going to have everybody else just taking up space, basically, right? Real interesting. If you saw Patrick Bet-David the other day on Jubilee with the rest of the world and those weirdos, that's kind of the rest of the world. Like you and I, it's like, okay, we're in this small, like kind of ecosystem, and they're in a great larger ecosystem. Those people are going to get hammered. Okay. Like it's just no doubt about
it. It's not though, Dave. That's what I'm telling you. Okay. Well, that's the message. It's not all. So like, it's not entrepreneurs shielded from this. This is going to impact everybody. Okay? Right. It's not going to impact, who's not going to get impacted by it? The elites, the guys that have the money, okay, or the guys that have the foresight to hook into those technologies. But most of those people, okay, do not give a fuck about the average person and don't care whether they can put food on the table. Okay. They will not think twice of laying off 10%, 20%, 30% of their staff. And they're probably going to do that year over year over year. Okay. As the technology gets better, as it adopts faster. All right. And that's where this is going. Okay. It's also going to go to universal basic fucking income, which would be terrible.
Yep.
Okay. Would be terrible for everybody involved. All right. And it's actually going to be a necessity. And I hate that. I don't think it should be. All right. There's more than enough ways to do this. And the problem is the genie is out of the bottle and I don't see how to put it back. All right. And then how much of this technology gets shifted to use against us? Right. It's bad enough that it'll mess with everybody's ability to earn a good living. But the other part of it is, you have Palantir that is getting these government contracts. They can go in your phone. Don't tell me they're not going to do it. They've already done it. They've shown, okay, that they cannot be trusted. All right. And so that's why I'm telling you, everyone needs to have a sense of urgency about what they do and how they do it. Because if you don't, you're going to lose. And here's the really scary part. All right. Some of us are in the wave, right? Some of us have our businesses and we're adopting and we're getting this technology. All right. But when my son graduates in 8 years, what's that going to look like? How do I prepare him for this? Okay. How do you prepare any kid for this? It's next to impossible, right? These are things that this is challenges we've never faced before. Okay. It's going to be very, very hard to learn. And it's really going to be who can adapt the technology and make it work for them the best, or who can outproduce and provide the best type of service. I do see it as an opportunity in a sense, if you can get the tech right and you can mix the tech with the people. I also see it as an opportunity where people are going to need a sense of community. All right. Because everybody is constantly head down in their phone. They're not interacting with other people. I think that is something that is truly lacking, okay, in this world. And people will need a sense of connection and a sense of community. You already have these weirdos that are dating ChatGPT or whatever the fuck avatar they have. All right. That is the creepiest thing I've ever seen. And, I'll pray for those people. Right. And now you have China coming out with sex robots. All right. What do you think is going to happen? That is going to collapse populations. Okay. And there has to be like moral standards here. Right. I'm not trying to preach that I'm better than anybody, but like, why would you want that? Why would you want to have, I can't even like,
opinions, man. Like people are weird. And that's kind of where I was going with like those other people, right? Like a lot of that stuff, it's going to start with them first. But the way I see it, right? Like, is there a change? And this is where I was going with it. Of course, man. Like you got to be aware. It is freaking scary. But I also think too, is you don't know with how fast everything's going to happen. There's two things down the road, right? It's either it's going to create other opportunities, right? Kind of like the horse and buggy with the car, although this is way more advanced, way faster, or when it starts stepping on a couple elites' toes in a certain manner, then a regulation comes in. But you don't even see how that's going to happen if China and the rest of the world is kind of running rampant with their own technology. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, dude, I got something on that. And we could go off on that Monday because that's a whole show in and of itself.
Cool.
And, I think Trump is really slipping up with some things.
I think so too.
Yeah. Yeah. He's had certain dinner guests that he should have put in fucking prison and in a wood chipper. But we'll get into that on Monday. But guys, listen, give us your thoughts.
Pick sides.
What do you say?
That's why you don't pick sides.
Right? I don't. I'm objective. I listen. I like he's done a lot of good.
Sure.
But he is absolutely going down a path that is not going to be reversible. All right. And that needs to stop.
Be all, man.
Correct. Yeah. No one is like, here's the message, guys. No one's coming to save you. You got to do it yourself. Okay. Like, this is stuff that you got to work through, think through, surround yourself with the right type of people, hire the right type of people, train them the right way. All right. And make everybody aware. Like, I'm not saying this to scare you guys. I'm telling you this because I see what happens, and I see it, and I care. I want you guys to do well. I want everybody to thrive. I don't like coming on here and ranting about this for 15 minutes. Okay. I can assure you of that. All right. I much rather be helping people and getting along with my day. But I do think it's that important that we have to make this. So please, guys, share this one. I mean this, and make sure you tune in for Monday, because there's going to be a part 2 that is going to rock your world. All right. So appreciate you guys. Have a great weekend. Share this. And guys, if you have questions or you disagree or anything like that, please post it here. All right. I'm happy to have a conversation with you. I'd love to hear other perspectives. Okay. But I got to tell you something. I'm pretty good at this thing. All right. I have been calling certain things out for a minute. And when it comes to economics, when it comes to the business side of it, it's all I've done. Okay. It's all I've done. And so I think I have a little bit of a leg up on the average person because of how many times I've seen it. I'm not smarter than anybody, right? If you see something 500 times a month and somebody else only sees it, I don't know, in the papers or in the news, there's going to be a big difference. Okay. I'm in it every single day. All right. I appreciate you guys. Share this.